let's jump into the IP NFT framework. And I'm calling it a framework because it is actually not necessarily a tech stack or something, but it's actually just a aggregation of different concepts that we put together and that can be implemented independent of the necessary tech stack. What we first need to understand for that is what is a non-fungible token. And those have gotten a lot of media attention, unfortunately not necessarily a good media attention because of unfortunate scams and stuff like that happening throughout the last year. But non-fungible tokens is an interesting technology to have a look at for creating scarcity in the digital realm. Now, scarcity, creating that in the digital realm is a topic that has also been hotly debated because in a way, the question is arising, do we want scarcity in a digital realm? But similar to, for example, the creation of knowledge, in some aspects, we want the creators to be protected when it comes to the creations that they're making. And so, for example, when we talk about patents, we currently in our societal and legal system agree that certain knowledge that is aggregated, generated, and use case being generated from that, which is patentable, we want to have certain people protected so that they can actually basically monetize their inventions. And similar in the digital realm, we could say, hey, people who are creating certain things, it could be artworks, but it could also, as said, be inventions, should be in a position to monetize their creations, even in the digital realm, to get back all those investments that they made. This is like a prelude to what actually like non-fungible tokens are. Now, for understanding non-fungible tokens, we need to understand non-fungibility and tokens. Let's start with the tokens, because that I think is pretty straightforward. It's basically an ownership relationship that is stored on the blockchain, which is just saying somebody owns a certain amount of something. Now, this token can be fungible or non-fungible. And fungibility is actually a spectrum. The most fungible good are currencies, because we don't really care if I own €1 or another euro. I can interchange them, those 2 euros, and the value stays the same. You know, even if they're like dirty or doesn't matter who had them before, they will always have the same value. Now, on the other side of the fungibility spectrum are things which are completely unique, such as, for example, artworks that were created, such as, let's say, the Mona Lisa. That artwork that could be replicated, but we, as a social construct almost, agree together that the initial Mona Lisa is the artwork that we ascribe the most value to, because it was the first time somebody came up with that certain concept, that certain idea, and that skill set, obviously. Now, the same thing applies for patents. When we create a patent, it is actually non-fungible because you can't exchange it for any other patent, and we ascribe it the individual value of the work that went into creating this knowledge and creating this invention. Now, for on-chain assets, it's really, really important for us to differentiate between those two, because they're being implemented in a very different manner. Now, for non-fungible tokens on blockchains, we can actually connect that to basically any kind of asset. You don't want to store a lot of information on the blockchain, but you can store a little bit. And what we're storing then there is a link to the asset that is managed with the blockchain. So if you think about it, for example, here on the right, you see OpenSea. A lot of people right now use that to store a link to a certain artwork that might be on a decentralized ledger, a decentralized data storage, so that if somebody looks at the token on the smart contract ledger, they see the link to the artwork and know, okay, this artwork is owned by me. Even though it might, let's say, is accessible to more people, it's still the initial ownership defined by the smart contract, by the blockchain, stated that I'm the owner. Okay, so now we understand non-fungible tokens. Let's understand and jump into the IP NFT, so the intellectual property NFT.